afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to one and all. On behalf of your Puram, Kerala, I, Akanksha Pratap, research scholar, extends a warm and hearty welcome to all the participants to this organized by the Research Ignacia under the Friday Talk series titled Inside In-Depth Invited Talk, where every Friday we enrich ourselves with knowledge and presence of an eminent resource person. MTTC is a teacher training college established in 1956, affiliated to of Kerala. It offers courses for B.Ed and M.Ed degrees and is recognized PhD research facility as a center of research under University of Kerala with a grade A accreditation. Grade A is a reflection to a strong and able leadership. Let's continue the session. Prayer is the conversation with God, and for every good beginning, blessings from the Almighty God is essential. Let us begin the program with the prayer. Soumya, can we have the prayer song? Now I would invite Mrs. Ambika R. for the welcome address.
Ambika R.
Hello, Ambika. Okay, dear friends, let me welcome all the dignitaries for the time being.
Hello.
Ambika, Ambika.
Hello, Kelkamo, sir.
Yeah, Ambika, please carry on.
Good afternoon to all. Respected Principal K.Y. Benedict, sir, Research Coordinator Dr. Joji Jones, sir, and all research aides and chief guest Dr. Gengam Hota, sir, and all research scholars. Firstly, I introduce myself. I am Ambika R, research scholar, Mark Theophilus Training College, Thiruvananthapuram. Firstly, I invite and welcome to our principal, Dr. Benedict, sir. Sir is a motivator, really a motivator, and to develop all academic activities. I hearty and warm welcome to Dr. Benedict, sir. Then I invite and welcome to Dr. Joju Jones, sir, and all research guides and my dear friends. Then I welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Genga Mahota, sir. Rashmi introduce more about, sir. I hearty welcome to all. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ambika. Knowledge is power. The purpose of today's gathering is to add on to that power. Every addition to true knowledge is an addition to human power. Today, we have an eminent personality amongst us to share his knowledge. I invite Mrs. Reshmi K to introduce the distinguished speaker for today's webinar. Reshmi K.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon to all. I am Reshmi Srikanth. This is scholar, Mathiaflas Training College, Trivandrum. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce the resource person for the day. We are honored in this afternoon by the presence of Honorable Resource Person Dr. Gengar Mehto, who is working as Assistant Professor in the Department of English, NCERT, Bhopal. He had his PhD in English literature on regionalism, a major work of R.K. Narayan. Dr. Mehto is well known for his works in the different fields of education. He is a trainer, teacher, content developer, and a researcher. He also has a previous rich experience in teaching students at senior level in Kendriya Vidyalaya. Besides this, Dr. Mehto is a prestigious author of research papers and articles. He has prepared various teaching and learning modules for SCRT, Bhopal, in the area of English language teaching and training. He has trained thousands of in-service teachers to teach language effectively in Kendriya Vidyalaya and NCERT. Moreover, he upholds the advantage of technology and exploits it for the benefits of both teachers and learners. Thus, Dr. Mehto hardly need any special mention as he has made many of us proud with his distinguished works and numerous abilities. As a final note, he is a fascinating personality and we are grateful for his presence to deal with the topic language pollution. We are proud to have you, sir, here on behalf of Insight in Depth, organized by Research Wing, Martioflas Training College, Nalanjara. We heartily welcome you, sir, for this session.
Thank you. Before we begin with the session, there are few announcements and a humble request to all the participants. Kindly keep your mics on mute, as any questions or queries can be posted in the chat box. Also, we will have a performance round session at the end of the presentation. E-certificates will be issued to all participants. There are no hurdles upon a language, whereby men can hold up and mark it with sign of its remembrance. It is a river, this language, once in 1,000 years, breaking a new course, changing its way to the ocean. With these lines by Carl Sandburg, let me invite our distinguished speaker, Dr. Ganga Mahato sir, for his presentation. Over to you, sir. Uh, Hello, Ganga Mahato sir?
Yes, yes, just a moment. Is my audio clear?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is my
Perfect,
screen
sir.
visible?
Perfect, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Perfect.
done.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. I got the feedback. Now I may start. Thank you, Akansha. Thank you, this team, for calling me to give a talk. This topic is really very, kind of attractive. I call it language pollution. I've done some work on that. It's entirely my point of view that I'm going to keep. At the end of the session, we can also discuss whether whatever I submit here, you do agree with that, or you would like to call it differently. At the end of the session, we can even have a short discussion on that as well. I'll after a few slides, I'll come to the kind of discussion whether we call this term, why I call this term as language pollution. Let's start with some pictures. It's a beautiful picture. I think all of us can agree with it's a picture of maybe few years back, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, more time. So then I call it the then, and then I share you another picture. Dating of the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s, something that happened around 20, 25 years ago, and something that has been happening in last 10, 20 years. So you can relate yourself as to which generation you are from and how far you can link yourself to such pictures. Let's move further. It's a picture that I have seen. I have also quoted the link. It's a really very funny picture. You can just read it out. I'm reading it for you. The girl is really worried to see the person looking at the smartphone while they are on a date, and she expects that he to pay some attention to her. And she says, "Do you mind if I strap your phone to my forehead so I can pretend you are looking at me when I talk?" See, this has become the situation of almost every house, every place, every person. Those who are mostly the age group of 10, I call it, to 50s, or this is somehow even some older people. This has become the situation of how we are glued to the screens of this tiny device that has almost changed the lives that any other thing did in last thousands and thousands of years. So smartphones have become an essential part of our life, and it will be very difficult for us to survive without a smartphone. They are ready to give everything away from their lives except this tiny device called smartphone. Life appears to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, without the smartphone. Why I'm talking all this, let me come to that. Then we'll call learning versus unlearning. So you see the picture that is placed to us right. Humans are hooked most of the time. This kind of picture you see on social media, and machines, on the other hand, are very much into learning. Artificial intelligence and many other things are helping them learn a lot. So man is quite unlearning. They cannot remember even 10-digit mobile number. Think of 20 years ago, we could recall more than 5, 6 mobile numbers. Right now, if somebody asks you, you tell the number of so-and-so person, hardly you could tell one or two mobile numbers, 10-digit numbers. So we are unlearning. We depend on technology, that technology can save these things for us, and we can always find it out easily from the machines. Machines, on the other hand, they are learning. They can recall a lot of things. They are storing a lot of ideas, a lot of data. So they are learning a lot, and they're learning from our behavior. Then, and they are learning from their own behavior. We could hardly remember 10 phone numbers today. Machines are learning. They can remember unlimited number of things. You cannot have terabytes, or whatever bytes. They are limited number of storing capacity they have, and they can remember trillions of things in a small, tiny chip. Artificial intelligence, we all have heard of. Machines are learning to think and suggest. So they have uh, started developing this thinking capacity as well. They can search from a lot of ideas, and they can suggest Google suggestions, and all many suggestions that they come up are based on artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is changing the life. Yesterday itself, I was watching telecast on artificial intelligence from Rajya Sabha TV. They were saying next 10 years to come, um, chances are very much there that even on Indian roads, there will be cars without steering, the cars that can locate the direction and can move on its own without a driver. So they are learning to think and suggest. Think of chess games, which started early phase of artificial intelligence. Let's think of linguistic intelligence. Not only of course, linguistic intelligence is a part of artificial intelligence. So we have this tiny devices called Amazon's Alexa, which has become very, very popular in Indian markets, along with the West. To Google, Google suggestions are there. To Siri, all these things are something that come up with voice searches and voice suggestions. So machines have learned to speak. You talk to them in your voice, and they will respond back in a human language. They will not just do something. They will speak back to you. They can do a lot of job, like controlling your whole home from my place. I can switch on my TV. I can switch off my TV. I can switch my AC. Anything that I think can be controlled through this device is possible now, and that too in a voice that humans can speak. They often speak more correct English than most humans do. Why I said this statement? Because they are grammatically correct fed statements inside them. They work on the grammar that is inbuilt. They do not make mistakes of grammar, which we as humans make errors too. So they are more correct compared to humans when it comes to linguistic intelligence. We have smart speakers and these kind of voice searches in smartphones that do that. Now I'll come to Noam Chomsky, who assumes that a kind of language organ is there in the mind of human beings, and it's a genetic makeup of humans. He says that this language organ is more obvious and more working in nature in humans compared to any other species. Of course, some other species also speak, but they do not speak the way humans do. Humans have ability to frame unlimited number of sentences, unlimited number of utterances and meanings with a limited number of constructions. So this language, as human language speak, is a genetic makeup of only humans, which other species are deprived of. A system which makes it possible for a limited set of rules, we have limited set of rules and grammars and words, to construct unlimited number of sentences is not found in any other species. I'm quoting these statements from Noam Chomsky. And then I'm quoting Ronald Gross, who way back around 50 years ago, 1969, he was speaking, he was presenting a paper in an international conference on international semantic seminar at Denver, Colorado, in August 1969, and he was speaking on language pollution. So this term language pollution is not new. not given by me, though very limited use of this was there. So I'm someone who is trying to work on this. So Ronald Gross has spoken about this way back in 1969, and I'm directly quoting his statement. He said, it's a part of the paper that he presented in 1969. He said, the language around us is not alive and human, but mechanical and dead. It no longer speaks to us in the voice of a real man, a man who was born, is living, and will one day die. Rather, it speaks with inhuman speech or clatter or glossiness of the machine in which cog is a machine, one cog communicate with other cogs, the language of machine of which they are both merely parts. The language we use, like the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat, is increasingly polluted. And mind it, when Ronald Gross talked about this, that time smartphone was not this much developed, technology was not this much developed, artificial intelligence had just began, and that time telephones were very much popular. And thinking of the growth of telephones, etc., he and the machines, that was maybe industrial revolution 2.0. That time he talked about everything that time the language was getting increasingly polluted. If we compare his time to current time, 50 years after that, things have changed drastically from his time to this time, and it has changed for the worst. I'll let you know how it has become worst. Now, when you think of pollution, there are some pollutants that damage the quality of certain thing that we consider pure, something that is pure, something that is impure. There may be questions as to can we call any language to be pure. We'll discuss this at the end. Language is successful in conveying feelings of people. It is good to be used. Successful. I am using the term successful in conveying the feelings of people. Mixing of unwanted elements reduces its quality, harming the intelligibility of the language. The term I use is intelligibility. Intelligibility is not as expected in the language, making it impure. Such a language generally fails to convey the feeling. I'm using this term. They are very much close to human language, close to these things: feeling, emotion, and warmth of the speaker. None of these qualities the machine language has. The characteristics that makes it human language. So this feeling, emotion, and warmth is very much particular to human language, which machines fail to convey. Okay, I'll cover these so I can skip the slides. I'm covering this. Let's talk of language of social media. I think these pictures also will cover up shortcuts. Let's think of first pollutant of its kind, something that has come up a lot, has interfered a lot into our language. One of them is shortcuts. We have lots of ways of making shortcuts. Mostly youth generation, millennium, is someone who is millennial, is someone who is making a lot of shortcuts, mostly to avoid their parents from knowing what are they doing, a secret chat, or hiding things from other, or keeping things between just two people. They use lots of short coinages, or maybe sometimes in a hurry to also write the message and all. We have lots of shortcuts used in our way. You see the way of the picture. This picture is drawn by one of my students at Kendriya Vidyalaya Kankabag when way back 2016. Look at this. Lots of ideas are coming in your mind. They're coming in big pictures. You think about them. You also maybe may have ideas about them, images about them, but when they're coming out in the form of either emojis or short forms. So we have short coinages like "by the way," "laugh out loud," "as soon as possible," "rest in peace," "OMG," "talk to you later." I've worked a research on this also as to how these are, a collection is also there. Then we have vowelless words like learn, informal, speed. They just remove vowels and make short forms. Letters and number they combine. For example, later, great, fine, anyone. They use common short forms that are established one found in dictionary. They use also them. Letters they use. This has become very, very popular now. They're just using some letters for words. For example,
Thank you.
C. Yeah, please. Is my voice clear? Some interruption was there?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
It's
Now,
clear, sir. It's clear, sir. It's clear.
Okay, I'm proceeding. So we are using some letters for words. For example, C and U letters are used for the word SEEC and YOUU. So short form letter for words. Then symbols are also used. This, for example, this hug symbol. You have copyright symbol. Many they use these symbols as well established ones. They also create new symbols. They use also first few letters of word, for example, exam, computers, a company, department, and all. So there are some short form. Some of the ways they use short forms. This is the examination notebook, answer sheet of class 12 examination. Of course, it was illegal for me to take it out, but I have just taken a snap from the main board examination of class 12 in order to bring it to you. Good morning, all of you. This is a class 12 student writing to a teacher. Respected principal, sir, MO, MEM, ma'am, something like that. So when whatever you use in texting is coming in two ways, I'm ready to accept you, the letter U, as a word, provided it is established and somehow Oxford or some good companies, dictionaries come and accept them as words, or we are given freedom to accept short forms in the exams as well. So this is a class 12 paper. How far we agree to accept these short forms. And if we agree to use these short forms, unlimited number of short forms are on the way to come to you. Now, what I did is that Diwali, this last Diwali. I thought let me do a small research on this, and so what I did is that I got lots of messages from friends, something like this, RIP and all. So I thought let me just check how do they react to short forms. So I just posted this message, HD to all. The meaning was Happy Diwali to all. It was a Diwali celebration, so I wrote HD to all, and I got responses from some of my teachers as well. This is Professor Rajgopal, who has responded to my email. He said, "TC, you too HD." I don't know, TC was take care or what. I couldn't get it. You too. HD must be Happy Diwali. So this was the response from my teacher. And then I got some of my friends who responded, friends and my students who responded to this message. Writing Happy Diwali is better. What is HD? High definition or Happy Diwali? We may now have HC for Happy Christmas, HNY for Happy New Year, and HBD for Happy Birthday. Would you like such expressions for yourself? This is Chesta who responded from Raipur. Then Shweta from Bhubaneswar responded, we have already lost our culture by replacing Shubh Diwali with Happy Diwali. And now HD, what we are, a person with less emotions and feelings. Ria from Bhopal said, I really feel offended when people shorten their wishes. That's why I prefer staying away from social media. People like posting bland and senseless messages on festivals. Some wishes sometimes sound so vague that it clutters both the mind and the inbox. Then we have Sudhanshu from Varanasi. He said, I don't like these short forms for conveying a message. I think emotions are connected to heart. HD fails to convey the warmth and emotion of the message. I'm not clear whether HD stands for Happy Diwali or Happy Dhanteras, which they fall at the same time around. Instead, we can send our voice messages to convey our feelings and warm wishes. Then we have Bhaprita from Patna. Short forms does not convey the message and emotion as real words do. They are more risky to be used and are more prone to misinterpretations. And then I think the second last, Rashmi from Kolkata said, short forms lack warmth of wishing. It is not acceptable to me at all. People should stop doing that. And there are people's reactions. So I think many of them were not very happy with the short forms when it comes to wishing something, luck or some festival, wishing them on festivals or some other day. They were not very happy with the short forms. Effect on morphology, language. So slowly and gradually, short forms are changing and replacing standard spellings. Many spellings have already changed, and some of the spellings are gradually replaced or being replaced. New substandard abbreviations, acronyms are added to the vocabulary. Substandard, why I call it? Because they are not established, they are not accepted by Oxford dictionaries or many other dictionaries which are standard for the world. So they are substandard abbreviations and acronyms are added. They are used and they're coming to the use, very fast, at a faster pace than any other decade did. Non-formal language, I call it, because they're not established yet now, is mixing up with the standard language. Then we come to emoji. These emojis are the again short not forms, they're the short pictures, pictures to express the emotions that we have. And we have chatting with emoji as well. So let me give you some example. You can read it over there. So I think it's taken from WhatsApp. The girl asked, "What is your name?" The boy posted 2 emojis. The girl, "What nonsense! Your name is Bread Coffee?" Boy, "No too light. My name is Bunty." So he posted a bun and a tea. Combined is to Bunty. The second you read on your own. The boy says, "I got a new job." I think, is it visible? Is the text visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So you read it out on your own. They're funny. So you see this engineering, engine, ear and ring, engineering, your congrats, all these terms are becoming popular and children use this. When you peep into the young people's mobile, which you really get a chance to, they will hide it. But if you get it, you see internet is flooded with these kind of messages. I took a small survey. It was a small, limited to my place. So I did it in maybe a group of around 100 students at KB Kungaba. Why do you use this? They were the youngsters, class 11, 12 students. Many of them said that it is easy to use. Almost half of them, 50% of them said it is easy to use. That's why they use it. Some of them say that they don't know the spellings and all, and the emoji is very easy option for them. Some of them said it saves time, around 12% of them. And around 13% of them say that emojis express emotions better than written words. It's a forward or backward move. Let's think. Egyptian language, you see that? The ancient Egyptian transcripts and all, Chinese letters, the way they used to write in old times, hundreds, thousands of years ago, Indus script, then some cuneific form and all these languages were very, very popular millions of years ago when in a stone age or other time they used to write on the stones and all using some images. Now we are moving to again from thumb to thumb. It's a joke, bad joke, of course. Now, effect on morphology. Symbols are replacing words. Many words are replaced. Verbal language is replaced by visual or sign language. It makes people dumb. People are mostly posting images instead of speaking verbal. Instead of verbal, visual signs are being replaced. May misunderstand the sender. You may not, if you don't get it. So there's a problem of intelligibility. May misunderstand the sender. Many a time this happens as well. Adverse psycho-emotional effects on users. This is established proven fact by psychologists. Emerging as a new language on its own. These emoji is emerging as a new language on its own. I'm giving you an example. This Moby Dick, I think famous epic, American epic that everyone knows, written by Herman Melville, is translated into pictographs in 2013 by Benison. This Benison is the emoji book writer. He has written, the book is called Emoji Dick, not Moby Dick, Emoji Dick. And this book is completely translated. There are no words, no written text is there in the book, except on the place of the text, Benison has used only emojis to complete the book. So the whole book is written using emojis only. And the word of the year 2015 was emoji. It was a word of the year, not emoji of the year, not a picture of year. It was a word of the year 2015. emoji with a laughing face and tears. So face and tears, tears falling out from the laughing face. That was the word of the year 2015. So you might understand how emoji has become popular. And this book, Emoji Dick, if you feel, you just search on internet, you will be able to see that. Benison's book, Emoji Dick, a translated version of Moby Dick. So you see how emojis are replacing real words. The book is an example. Then we have meaningless four words, phrases and all. They are not, instead of using complete language, they are using short phrases and all. Party going, yeah, it is something like that. Chill, so waiting, something like they're just using shorter phrases instead of longer words now. This maybe a bit exaggeration, but this kind of message can be seen in most of the young people's. Not, I'm not saying all. Most of the young people's cell phone. I heard you failed in English. Response: who told you? It is impossible. I saw the result yesterday. I passed away. Okay, bye. Bye bye. God bless you. Maybe some spelling corrections and all. This kind of message is possible. Bit exaggeration over here. But research indicated that 22% of the people failed interviews, good interviews, because of their poor spelling and grammar. 22% is a good number. A good number. 22% of them fail because of this bad spelling and all. What is causing, one of the reasons is the way language has developed in recent years, and the way there has been less learning of language. Proper learning of language has resulted into 22% people failing because of language in interviews. So phrases are replacing sentences. There is a sharp increase in the use of slangs. Non-formal language is replacing formal language. We have this kind of keyboards, very popular now. People have almost forgotten the way they used to have beautiful handwritings and all. Then we have speech to text conversion. You speak something, it will convert, a machine will convert your spoken words into text. Then you have text to speech conversion. You write something and there is a voice who will speak the words that you have written. So speech, text to speech conversion and speech to text conversion, both way it works. In fact, you see the top right corner, a beautiful written picture. The girl has been selected for beautiful handwriting in Nepal, class 8 girl. Now, this kind of thing is almost very, very rare. Now, people have a lot of preference to typing text than writing. Even my daughter, she is very good in typing. When I ask her to write something, she will always pick up her laptop and say, Father, can I type? I do, even though I insist on her writing, she really likes texting or typing than to write something beautifully on the notebooks. Preference is to typing than text. Adverse effect on calligraphy. This writing from hand using pen and pencil as becoming things of the past. Not much as of now, but slowly it is replacing. People's preference is always on typing. There is a deterioration in handwriting practice. This is relevant in most of the board examination papers that we have been evaluating. The language that we see, the handwriting that we see is not very legible. So legibility has decreased, resulting in decrease in intelligibility of what the child wants to convey. They are becoming more and more machine related, mechanical. Ronald Gross, I'm quoting again. Machine learned language is becoming more effective. Then we have machine translation. This is one of the most important pollutants. Machine translates large abundance of text in a very, very short time. You just select one button, so you have thousands of words on the screen. Select the button, translate, and it will translate the word from one language to other language. So it does a word-to-word translation. It didn't have much sense as of now to translate things of the way humans do. So it does a word-to-word translation, of course, called machine translation. Generally fails to convey the real meaning. So the real meaning may not be conveyed. Generally, it fails. They have emotionally detached translation. So translation may not be emotionally detached. I'll give you an example of my personal life. So what I did is that now I'm not very active on Facebook. I was using Facebook a few years ago, much. And my wife was also using it, and our son was born to us. We were blessed with a son. She posted a picture of my son on her Facebook post, and at the bottom, we are from Hindi background, so she wrote in Hindi, "Mera Raja Beta." This is the three words she has written, "Mera Raja Beta." And since I preferred Facebook to show me the message in English, Facebook automatically translated my wife's post written in Hindi, "Mera Raja Beta," into English as "my king son." I looked at this. I thought, when did my newborn son, turn to be king? Then I saw the Hindi word, and it showed my Raja Beta. I realized, had there been a person, the translation would have been, or had there been a human translation, it would have been "my lovely son." But you see, the machine Raja, what was lovely, we call it, lovely. Maybe used a word. We can use the word for Raja, word of love. So this word, "my king's son," was really emotionally detached translation. We could not convey the meaning. Three words I had said. And when it comes to bigger text, you can see the number of mistakes that machines can make. Uh, then we have this transliteration kind of thing, where you use the script of one language to write the words of other language. Generally, for example, MERA, Mera, RAJA, Raja, BETA, Beta. If we use words of Devanagari script Hindi and use Roman script to write those words, maybe transliteration and similar kind of thing takes place. The fact is that pronunciation may differ. We sometimes, and these young people are quite a lot using this. The pronunciation may not be, correct, because we can't have exact similar words or sound in the same language. So pronunciation may differ. There is a threat to the script of source language as well. Some people say that maybe uh, Roman has become very, very popular, and this script of Devanagari is not getting, of course, at certain places increasing as well. So it's not because of media and all, but there is a threat to the script as well. Some scripts are at the threat. Then we have auto correction tools. They automatically correct whatever you write. There are softwares, Grammarly, Ginger, a lot of softwares are there. They auto correct things. They're spell checkers, they're grammar checkers, they're word suggestions. They suggest you which word is very appropriate over there. Then you have sentence error checker as well, and then paragraph level. Up to paragraph level, they underline the words and provide you suggestions. These two softwares are much used, Grammarly, Ginger, and all. See, a picture. Many a time we have been victims of this auto correction tools. Message is posted on the right side. "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dead husband. Happy birthday to you." The husband replies, "Thanks, I assume you mean dear." Yes, mean that. I mean, that is a crazy autocorrection. Sorry, many a time. And I'll give you example of my life. So there are hilarious autocorrections. Learning or unlearning, you have to think. These young people, they are more depend on auto corrections than recalling the word, finding them in the dictionary. Dictionary has become things of the past. They have correction then and there. So an example of my life, I was there at Coimbatore attending a workshop, and there a friend was there from Sri Lanka. His name was Karuna Karan. In short, I used to call him Karuna. So in morning, I just sent a message to him, "Good morning, Karuna." And the message, maybe because of Indian context or something, it could not recognize the word Karuna, and it automatically corrected it to Karina, maybe because of actress's name. So the message that was sent to him was, "Good morning, Karina." He laughed a lot and said, "I'm not Karina, I'm Karuna." So you understand, many a time this is something that has happened. One example I have given. So this is something that happened, that has happened with most of us, and we have been victims of this auto correction tools. Then we have this good mornings and all that has become mechanical in our life, RIP and all, whether they convey the real feelings or not. Emotionless and mechanical language is used many a time. Sometimes when machines reply instead of human replying, monotony and expression is there. There is lack of warmth in feelings and wishes when we convey it. Irritating, sometimes these greetings become irritating when it is not human. It has lack of warmth of feeling and wishes. It's irritating also. Then we have these kind of ads as well. They are all parts of pollutants. I'm loving it. I'm feeling lucky. Don't angry me. Some of these things you see in real grammar, they are not accepted, but they have become so popular that feeling word is now used uh, in verbs of perception in ing form as well as gerund as well. Loving word is accepted now, which we generally don't use. We use feel, we use love, and angry word is establishing itself as a verb. Don't angry me, don't make me angry is the correct expression, but don't angry me, we see lots of people using it. Then we have sometimes ads, these uh, ads that are sometimes used ignorantly, sometimes knowingly. Previous ones were knowingly done. These are unknowingly done. You can read them out. They're hilarious words written. Sarma sweets and snakes. You see that? Branded gents, all sizes, large to 7XL. Pick any gent. Dragon Mom Corner. You understand dragon moms are veg moms, chicken moms. Long leave our be love leader कृष्णप्पा जी हैं. कृष्णप्पा जी थोड़ा पोस्टर भी देख लिया कीजिए. It goes in the public. Dress code for entering water park, gents, Bermuda compulsory, ladies, nothing is compulsory. Just hilarious. You see the language that is used over there. Makes language informal or maybe wrong use, becomes cliche sometimes. Those don't angry me is becoming very popular, become cliche. May replace original words, may change grammar or word category itself. Angry word from noun is becoming a verb. Then we have rap songs that has flourished because of escapism. There is an award, 20 rap songs that make you want to punch someone in the face. Then there is award, Golden Raspberry Award for the worst original song. You have good original song, soothing, pleasing original song to worst original song. And 2013, the award was given to someone, I don't remember the name. After listening to his song, the crowd started, tearing off their hairs, each other's hairs, punching others on the face, got unruly. That song got the award of the Golden Raspberry Award for the worst original song. Slang verb over language is used in such languages. I would not like to quote it, but many word songs are there. But Pappu can't dance, and then you fill the words. Similar kind of things are there. Pleasing or soothing songs versus irritating noise. We used to have soothing songs. Now we have irritating noise instead of songs. Some of the popular Bollywood examples. I know you can have examples in your own language. I know Hindi, so I am giving examples of Hindi. But Pappu can't dance, and I'm not fitting the word. The word is abusive term. अपना time आएगा तू, and then he तो आया है तो something लेके जाएगा. And you understand the words that where I have used these symbols of abusive terms. These terms are something that is vulgar, is not good to speak. Then we have flood of these videos and all on online. Anyone can post any content. There is no censoring of content, and they have become very, very popular in the youngs. TikTok was something that was very popular, and I think they have banned it, rightly done. Anyone can make and post any content online. No censoring of content by the authorized agencies. Any content. This is really, really very troubling. No certificate of suitability of content to age group. Who can watch what age group content? So no certificate of suitability of content. Some of them started coming, but mostly they don't. Prime Video, G5, Hotstar, Vigo, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, etc. They are very popular among youths. A few days ago, some of the famous content for the youth include Mirzapur, Comic Stan. You cannot watch them at home. You see the language of Mirzapur. There is in Hindi. I am sure your language must have some new TV series or online series in your language. And the words that they use is not very suitable for young people. And even those, the ones who are watching it, they're, and most of the age group who are watching it are, 14, 15 years to 45 years or 50 years, and they are learning a lot of words from these languages. They are becoming so popular, and they think that now this is popular, this is a new kind of normal, and they started using those kind of words. I don't know how much accepted these words are there. So informal language, offensive language, abusive language, you call anything, double meaning language, unacceptable, objectionable language, all these things are flourishing the way it never did in the previous generation. And they're inappropriate content for the young minds. So their minds are quite flooded with these kind of words now. Then we have these smart speakers, these machines, artificial intelligence in language learning by machines is linguistic intelligence. There is a behavior in language learning by machines. So they are building upon your language, and the more you interact with machines, the more they understand you, and the better they understand you. So there is a behaviorism in language learning by machines as well. They learn from your repetition. The way behavioral theory was human in humans is now in machines as well. न्यूज़पेपर पोस्ट, गूगल, एलेक्सा जैसी कंपनियों के स्मार्ट स्पीकर महिलाओं की बात नहीं समझते, क्योंकि ये पुरुष की आवाज से टेस्ट होते हैं. दे हैव women voice. Most of these Siri, Google Assistant, and Alexa, all of them has female's voice. So they do not understand women's voice, easily. If there is a comparison between male voice and women voice, they are more easy. They understand male voice easily compared to female voice. This article is about that. And my experiment with smart speakers, unfortunately, I have been using this since long time when this Alexa came into the market in 2017. Since that time, I have used 2016 last. I have been using this, and my experiment with the smart speakers is that it has decreased, a lot of things at my family. My daughter is quite dependent on the speakers for spellings and many things, and it has almost I am not happy. I'm not happy with many things that it has replaced in my home. Chatting with machines are also possible. So there is a role reversals. Human is speaking like machines, and they are made very mechanical. They are using language of machine. They are less emotional language, more mechanical language they're using. And machines speak like humans, like Alexa and all. They have taken the shape of human voice, and they respond to you in a human voice. So there is a role reversal kind of things. Human becoming more machine-like, machines becoming more human-like. Robotic response we have. Can understand only machine language. If you want to interact with Alexa and all, you have to give instruction only as a machine. It understands machine language only. Cannot understand emotionally influenced language. You speak something in happy tone, in a sad tone, something like that. The machine will not understand it. Cannot perceive mood, as to in what mood you are. Same reply will come in every mood. Ready-made replies they have. They don't have human-like reply. They have something that is fed into the machines will come up. Isolating people. Sometimes people are becoming attached to that. You understand how phones are isolating people in the first picture that you have seen. Now things are becoming more and more in young people. They just have a smartphone, no need of human being. They can manage with a mobile. They can manage without human, but they cannot manage without a smartphone or a machine. That's why that picture. Some predictions you must have seen: transporters, transformers, machines becoming humans. iRobot, robot movies, these two, iRobot and robot, where technology becomes human. Inception, Her, a very beautiful movie. If you happen to find some time, watch this. There, a human being falls in love with a machine voice, software. The way we have those machines now, short birds are there in our ears, and he fell in love with a machine. And later on, he realized that she had similar response to thousands of people like him. One day he was not responding on time, and she developed human emotion somehow, and then she started interacting with thousands of similar person like him, and then he got a really very disappointed by the way machine reacted with him, and that was the end of that. So if you happen to watch the movie Her, how love of technology from human and between human and machine, love between human and machine can turn into, and a movie like Avatar. We're just concluding 2 minutes more. So humans are behaving like machines. Machines are behaving like humans. Men have made machines. Machines will master man's own prediction. Master versus slave. We don't have. There. Some people say that let's not have master and slave. Let's coexist. Machine and humans coexist together. Machine come into humans' body, integrate into that, transform into transhumans. So there will be a new breed of people coming. They will be called transhumans, a dawn of new species. Tech addiction is a mental disease. Checklist test, many of them fail if you take a checklist test, keeping them away from the smartphones for a week. Many of them fail, effect on other species. Many of birds, plants are dying. Redefining teachers' role. The children are exposed, our young learners are exposed to thousands of content that we do not give. So our role is slightly changing. Instead of just teaching whatever content we teach, we should be learning counselor and help them select appropriate content, what content is right to learn. Because there is a flood of content on the internet, and our role is also now to advise our learners to select the appropriate content which will result into good learning. Problem is one, language pollution, or you call it language change, whatever way you call it. Some of you will say that it's language change. That's why I said at then we'll see whether it's pollution or change. So you say if you are ready to accept it as change, let's accept it. But how far you can accept the changes, that is also concerned. Tech addiction, purifiers, like we had water purifiers, air purifiers, vegetable purifiers. Can we have language purifiers like the way we have Grammarly and Ginger and all? So what to do? That language change is better. I leave this solution to you. Many of you might agree that change is better, so let it change. Technology as a language filter. Let Gingerly and other softwares purify the language. Teacher as language filter. Let us act as language filters. Avoid social media and technology. Not possible. It's not possible. Maybe some people after. I personally feel like going away from technology. I don't know about others. I really don't have a proper solution. I leave to you. Like other pollutions, we don't have regular solution. Similarly, for language pollution also, I don't have a solution. Let's think together. In my opinion, no app can replace lab. So this is more of technology interference into our lives and change on language. It's effect on language. In my opinion, no app can replace the real lab of human beings. Thank you. I welcome your questions, suggestions, observations, and feedbacks. Thank you very much. Over to you, Akansha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was a wonderful session. And thank you for enlightening us with the concept of language pollution. I hope for most of the participants, it's a new concept. So now let us move forward with the discussion session. Please type your questions in the chat box, or you may unmute yourself and ask questions. Participants.
I can see one of my friends also had joined. Siva Sundar Raut, are you there? Ajit Thakur is also there.
I'm also there,
Some of my friends thought, can I share the link with them, and I shared. So some of them are there. Dr. Ajit.
Yes. I छोटा बड़ा professor नहीं है. I'm ordinary अजीत.
Uh-huh.
ऐसे है How are you doing? It was very good presentation, gentlemen.
Thank you. Any
All the time we
suggestions?
used to talk about this language pollution since our BEd time, and I find it has the slides have been much more improved with better inputs now. More, glaring examples are coming. It's so nice to see.
Thank you. Any question, any query, any suggestion?
Sir, we cannot ask you any big question. We are ordinary
Arey,
people. You are such a
arey yaar.
new
Adit,
professor.
don't do like that. Don't do like that.
Seriously,
So,
man, you are doing a great work. Maybe our Shiv Sundar Rao should be asking some language related question. I will share a small thing. This language pollution, how problematic it has been. In my 10th class, I was going to somewhere, and 10th class child, you can easily understand, we did not have that much of exposure, and we are very much confined to one Odia medium school. We went to buy some paper in a town, and that the color paper was not available at that time. So in that shop, so we asked, where can we find? Kahan milega? But the person pointed out towards one shop and said, oh, quality wale shop mein milega. Now we were searching for QUALITY. The name should be there. We searched here and there, we could not find. Ultimately, the partner who was there with me, another boy, he said, Ajit, I think that was it there. And what was there, KWALITY. How the hell could our mind find out such kind of words? So this quality, language pollution
yes,
has
many
been
a
there for
time,
a
many
long,
a
long
time.
time.
It's not new. It's not new. Yeah. Something that can convey our feelings. Yeah.
Rubric says the criteria for the student to hear admitted in a rubric where I will consider
Some voice, a lot of voice is speaking at one go. So if you can just others unmute and one can speak, things will be Doctor.
Yeah, that will be better. Yeah. Somebody quality ice cream is there. Somebody rightly suggested.
Quality. Yeah. Good. A lot of other things are coming up which are changing the words. The words, the way language of 20 years after today will be entirely different. So we should be ready with the accepting these changes. But then there should be still the intelligibility issue will always be there. Let's not use a lot of things that are unwanted. Let's keep slowly, gradually accept the ones that are accepted by Oxford and Standard dictionaries. Because if we start accepting
Let's take an
everything,
example. I would like to, Professor Ganga, I would
yes,
like
sir.
to just suggest one. Now, this latest one that has come to my notice. You see now what has happened. Lakshmi Bomb, that movie name was coming, and whatever the political drama has happened, and now they have changed the spelling. How many people will figure it out? What's the change? For all of us, it would be the same.
Okay. Done. Good. I'll see that.
Double I is removed, one I is removed, triple E is added also. Hota hai?
Done. Thank you. I think there is a question directly asked to us. Do you think, Sailaja Devaki has said, would you mind giving us one more class, sir? Okay, let's work on this, not immediately, maybe after a month or two. Once I have got another important topic to discuss with you, I can share it with you. One of Rakesh Sharma sir has said, don't you think English language has more confusing words than regional languages? Of course, they say English is one of the most impurest languages of the world, and they're proud of that. They have borrowed the words from so many languages across the world that they are one of the most impurest languages, and that's why they're so widespread. It has more confusing words compared to other regional languages. I do agree with Rakesh Sharma ji. Yes.
Any other participants who want to reflect or ask any sort of questions are most welcome.
Hello.
Jojo sir?
Yes,
I'm audible.
yes, sir.
Um, okay. Very good afternoon to all the participants here, and I'm very happy that Mr. Dr. Gonga Mahato, my dear friend, invited me to this webinar. I'm very again a lot of thanks. In my linguistic days, I mean, when I read in the ELT that about language death, language loss, and I came to learn about a new concept today, that is language pollution. So this is something happening, and my suggestion that we need to just keep ourselves adapt and as well as adapt to this situation. And recently, I just read a post from Facebook that Finland is the very first country in the world where actually the 70% of the teachers in that country have been engaged in producing a syllabus actually which is based on technology, and they are just going to throw away the hard copy. And so this is happening in Finland. So this I read from Facebook. So this is a very good concept. I am very happy that I became a part of this webinar. So thank you, Dr. Gonga Mahato.
Any awkward sounds or sound is clear to others?
Yeah.
The sound is almost breaking to us.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful presentation. This is a new concept, and we the teachers as a filters, and we need to just check the language which is very formal, which is very informal.
Yes.
We need to teach our learners so that the learners must understand what is formal language, what is informal language. And Dr. Bato has already brought up an example of class 12 KV. One samples, and because teachers, the students don't know how to greet something like good morning to the principal, like something written there. I just read it. So this is something we need to guard against this kind of use of informal language in formal places.
Yeah. Siva sir is right. We need to, right now, as of now, for our students, we need to act as a small filter, but that will not work longer. Things will change, and I am very dead sure that things will change for the worse. But then we need to go with time. We cannot change, look at the languages that is there in these, series and, songs, and also we also can accept those changes, should not be very rigid. But then we should mildly also say stuff about good time. A time will come when people will get fed up with these things and go with the pure some good things that happen with us. So as of now, the easiest solution is teachers or individuals acting as filters. And there is a post regularly coming up role of memorization of individuals in learning English language. I think memorization, we don't call it memorization everything. We can have good language learning the way we used to have learning earlier, where individuals know the language instead of like depending on technology. There, of course, learning ways. I replace the word memorization with learning. So the child learn the language and use it as humans and not as machines. So machine language as of now is not very developed, and let language as of now be a part of human being only, and not go take it to the extent of machines. So that's there. Okay. Thank you, sir. Because of within time limit, it is very difficult to comprehend the detail about machine learning, especially artificial intelligence. Of course, with time, we'll have changes in that. So as of now, this artificial intelligence and linguistic intelligence are in growing phase, and they are improving very, very fast. So let's see what kind of shape it takes. But as humans, we should be always on alert, as not to be overpowered by machines. We can coexist with machines, but not be overpowered or influenced too much by machines. What Ronald Gross was talking about was interference or involvement of machines into human language. And that's why he called it language pollution. Language is getting polluted. And that has become very much now. So we need to be a bit, we need to be alert about the changes that is done by the machines. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jojo, sir, would you like to add
Hello.
something?
Yeah. Mathu sir, we are really indebted to you for many reasons. First of all, your title is one of the best titles that I have seen, and your title has communicated the message perfectly. And your poetic English language is really admirable. We loved it. And the way you have prepared the presentation in a meticulous fashion with 100% finishing touches. Thank you very much, sir. We are really blessed to have you here. And I am also a person from language, basically. My post graduation was in English language and literature, and my PhD was also related to teaching of English and educational psychology. Now, we are really indebted to you for the anecdotes and specifics that you have given. You have given everything with specifics, examples, and citations, and from practical teaching and learning experiences. I would like to add something about the curative power of language also, sir. We are actually polluting it. Actually, a positive word has a lot to do with a person, and it has got therapeutic powers, and it has the power to develop serotonin and dopamine in a person. So language should not be polluted, and we have to conserve language perfectly. Otherwise, we would lose a lot of best things that is produced by language, and language has got great beauty, and we should not destroy our language using technology too much, and we are crossing the limits. That's what I have felt always. Thank you very much for having spent your valuable time with us. We look forward to tie up with you in future also. Just as some of the participants have observed, we would love you to have in our platform again, sir. And we will be sending you the YouTube link. And Benedict sir, our beloved principal, is actually a young scientist award winner, a great educational thinker, and we would be posting the video to him also. He is actually attending a funeral now, sir. One of his aunts passed away yesterday. A funeral is going on now. So on behalf of Dr. Benedict sir, the manager of the college, all the faculty members, our insight in-depth participants, and the research team of Martha Plus Training College, we are really indebted to you, sir, for having spent your time here. God bless you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot. It was really my pleasure to reach out to around 100 people. I could see 74, 75 where I could see, so around 100 people, and I hope I was able to share some of the thoughts that I have. Thank you very much for calling me, and would love to be associated with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Akamshka.
Jojo sir.
Yeah, please carry on.
Sir, I am Dr. G.B. Givagis. Dr. Mohte sir, I cannot resist the temptation to give a big round of applause because I am familiar with the term. Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am, audible.
Yeah. We are familiar with the term water pollution, noise pollution, air pollution, thermal pollution, everything. But now we came to know about language pollution also. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for making us aware about this pollution have this much of consequences, and the language pollution makes so much problematic conditions. Okay, so really, you have pointed out that the growing misuse of language. Okay, yeah, we agree with it, sir. So language teachers and all teachers, we have to redefine our role. We have to change the way of saying, way of doing, because English is a language of all seasons. Okay, definitely, sir. Your presentation, I have no queries. But I have to congratulate you, your presentation. It was very nice. Your talk, excellent. And your illustrations, example, everything. It was a very comprehensive talk. And some of your expressions, it was very nice. Humans are behaving as machines, and machines are behaving like humans. Yes. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being with us, for giving such an informative talk. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm really, really blessed to have words of praise for me, Thank you very much. You must be a very senior person. I need blessings from you people, like so that I can do similar kind of things in future and can do something in the field of education and learning. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, that was one of our reputed professors of Marketplace Training College, a popular media person, former head of the Board of Studies also. That was Dr. Giri Givergis expressing thanks instead of our principal Benedict sir. Sir, I would like to add one more point to what you have said. And language is polluted sometimes by media persons also. The comparing people, news readers sometimes pollute language, and it's the role of teachers. Jiviti has rightly pointed out, teachers have to build the cat. All the teachers of all subjects, not only English teachers, all teachers have to build the cat, and we have to encourage students to use language with the fullness and perfection, not as the shortcuts. Okay, teachers have to build the cat also, sir. That's what I would like to share.
Yes, our role has multifolded now. Our role is more important than ever it happened so because of this. Because things are changing so fast, so rapidly that we need to be play very active role to stop it, or maybe to take it, give it a proper shape. Thank you very much, sir.
We can use technology to have Mathu sir with us on the Google platform, but we can't resort on technology to do all the grammar works and all the auto corrections and everything. That's all.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, Akamshka, to the next program, please. Out of thanks or something.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for an active discussion and active participation. Now I invite Mrs. Sajni E.K. for delivering a vote of thanks. Sajni E.K.
Hello.
You're audible.
Hello. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Most respected Principal Dr. Benedict, Honorable Speaker of the Day Dr. Ganga Mehta, Dr. Joju, Coordinator Research Wing, and all the distinguished participants of the 7th Insight in-depth program. A very good afternoon to one and all. On the behalf of Research Wing, Marketplace Training College, I would like to propose the vote of thanks to each and everyone who have contributed for the overwhelming success of the interactive section. First of all, I wish to sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. K.Y. Benedict, for the real source of inspiration and support. Thank you, sir. Today, we had an eminent resource person, Dr. Ganga Mehta, Assistant Professor in English, Regional Institute of Education, Bhopal. He shared very valuable thoughts and information related to language pollution. Sir, it was a wonderful section. Your methodology today's section was very interesting. You utilized the chat box in a productive manner. I express sincere thanks to Dr. Ganga Mehta. Thank you very much, sir. I raise my words of gratitude to special invitees for keen interest and active involvement to make this event a reality. I also very much thankful to Dr. Joju, Coordinator Research Wing, for his leadership and continuous motivation and support throughout this program. Thank you, sir. Moreover, I would like to thank the participants of the interactive section. You all make this section fruitful and success. We are expressing our heartfelt gratitude to one and all participants gathered here. Once again, I express thanks to all making this webinar great successful. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sajni. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your presence and participation. Now, an announcement. The feedback form link has been posted in the chat box. Please fill in the details carefully to generate an e-certificate. The program now will end.